Hi friends, it's Miss Tracy here, and as promised, I am coming to you today to kind of share some fun stamping techniques that I shared in our last meetup session for LBH Faith Friends. Now, even though we did this in Faith Friends, this is not just for people that Bible journal. You could do these same techniques on a card, on a canvas, on a layout, whatever you choose, but it is perfectly safe to do on the pages of your Bible. So it's a very interesting technique and it's a fun technique, especially for summer. This could be even fun for you to do with your kiddos as, one final summer craft project, before school starts. So let me go ahead and show you what we're going to be doing today. And I'm going to be demonstrating on some tags here. And you can see I've got some right here on this page. So let me just put one of them out here. Hopefully you can see that okay. We're going to be stamping today with fruits and veggies. So one thing I'm going to be using are limes and lemons. I have found that oranges are a little too juicy, so I just cut these in half and simply use my paper towel here to kind of squeeze out some of the juices. You can even set them out and let them dry out a little bit, and that works too. We use the same ones in the morning that sat out all the way till the evening for the evening session of Faith Friends, and they worked great. So we're gonna be playing with lemons and limes, and also with celery. And I don't know if you can see this, but celery, and I just have this one bundled with painter's tape. Okay, and then this is the stalk end, I guess is what you would call that. But look how beautiful. They're flowers. They're just screaming to be flowers, aren't they? I just think they're lovely. So I'm going to show you a couple different techniques using paint, but also using ink for these. But first I'm going to go to the fruit. So with our fruit, even though we're using a lemon and a lime, we could actually, this lemon could also be an orange or a lime. These actually look really pretty as flowers also, and same thing with the lime. You don't take it too literally. This could be painted orange to be oranges or yellow to be lemons, okay? So I'm going to take a little bit of paint, and by the way, I'm just using plain old craft paints, nothing special here, just good old craft paint. And I've already got some loaded up on my brush over here, on my plate I mean. I'll kind of show you just some different colors I've got going on there. So I'm going to take a little bit of this orange paint and I'm going to paint over my lemon, and hopefully he's not too juicy because I just cut him. We're going to find out. Always a good idea to do a little practice session first. Don't do it right onto your Bible page or right onto your canvas or your card. Go ahead and do it off on something, just a scrap piece of paper or something. So I'm gonna go ahead and scoot this out of the way. And I like it when you kind of like stamp off of an image. So I'm gonna come down here and kind of do this bottom edge here. Oh, look how cute. Can you see how cute that is? Oh, I totally love that. Okay, that's very, very cute. So let's do it again. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit more paint on this, especially around the edges. You may not have to do as much in the center because, like I said, I just cut him. He's pretty juicy, but for sure around these edges. So I think I'll come up here now on this edge, this top. And again, I'm just giving a little bit of pressure, not a lot. If you squeeze too much, you're gonna have lemon juice running all over your page. See how cute that is? I just think that's so darling. I love it. So let's add now some lemon, some yellow. Normally I would have some baby wipes out here with me, but I don't have any, so I'm just gonna kind of swipe my brush off on that paper towel. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here. You're not gonna go too heavy with paint on these. You don't want it to go gushing everywhere. But I do try to make sure I have plenty around the outside edge because that kind of gives the definition of the circle there. So I'm gonna come down, I think I'll come right here. Right in there. So cute. Look at that. I love it. Even got a little piece of lime in there. There we go. Okay, that turned out really, really cute. Let's do another one. Think how you could use fruit in your crafting. When I think of fruit, I think of sweetness, kindness. This could be a cute little tag on a gift bag or something. And in the Bible, of course, there's lots of references to fruit, fruits of the Spirit, a tree that bears good fruit, sweetness, kindness. Look at where I'm going with this. Isn't that gorgeous? I totally love it. Okay, so normally I would be drying this, you know, you just take your heat gun out and dry it. But I'm gonna set it to the side so that we can play around with the pins for a moment, okay? So I'm gonna move this off. And let me grab a piece of my paper towel here. I'm just on a plastic mat. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring this back down for you to see. And I've done some stuff on the back, so this is just kind of this is out of a Bible that was damaged and the pages were falling out, so I use it sometimes for demonstrations. I'm gonna go ahead and use my medium pen here, because this one is totally dry. You can probably see that. So typically I would probably use a smaller pen, but I'm gonna use this one just to make sure it shows up really good on camera. So now if I want to, and I don't have to, but if you wanted to, you could actually come in here, and I like to do kind of a double trace. It just gives more of a artsy look. That way you don't have to feel like you have to be too perfect, okay? And then I'm gonna come in and just create my little wedges. So that way, even if you don't get the perfect stamp, I mean, look how cute is that? Okay, so I am gonna come back in with my smaller pen here, because I'm also going to kind of creatively create my little rind here. Isn't that sweet? So let me do that again for you down here. Really easy. You don't have to be good at art to do this. And again, you can really take the pressure off if you do my little method. I do this on a lot of things. I call it the artsy trace. It's like doubling or tripling even your tracing. And it actually, in my opinion, looks better the faster you go. Some people might disagree. And look, I left a little bit of room down here because these guys are gonna kind of overlap. And if you don't want to be so doodly looking, you know, you can use your straighter lines. Okay, so now I'm just going to come in. And again, just kind of create those fun wedges. Isn't that so cute? I just think that's darling. So again, you don't have to actually do this step. If you like the more natural, organic look of it, just like this can totally work for you. And honestly, girls, I could totally see this. I mean, in my eye, I see this obviously as oranges and lemons, but if I did a little pin work in here, these could totally be beautiful flowers. I think that would be gorgeous, and you could put cute little centers inside. I think that would be really, really pretty. Okay, so let's move on. We're going to talk about my favorite thing, which is the celery. So I'm going to kind of move these over here. So I have some pictures that I'm going to post, that I've posted for you, of a couple other Bible pages, one done with paint, one done with ink. You can kind of see that one there. That one's kind of in the starts. And again, I'm going to come back and just kind of use these little tags here to show you the difference, okay? So again, I've just taken a stalk of celery, okay, the actual stalk, And I've cut it at the base because I love this kind of tight. You see how it's nice and tight because it's right here. And it's just such a pretty, beautiful kind of organically shaped flower. Okay. Now on this one, this is the actual ends, you know, of the actual of the stalk, the actual, not the ends, the actual pieces, the pieces of celery on the stalk. So I just kind of bundle them together. If you want a smaller flower, you just take some pieces off. If you want a bigger flower, then you keep them all, okay? And I wrapped it around with painter's tape. You could use, gosh, anything, duct tape, even washi tape, just whatever. It just helps to kind of keep it together, okay? And you'll see I have a pretty one on this end, and then I have this kind of unusual shape on this end, which also is gonna make a beautiful flower. So the first thing I'm going to show you is paint. So let me just kind of slide that back here. And just because I already have some yellow on my brush, I'm going to go ahead and do some yellow here. So again, not too heavy on the paint. If you're too heavy with the paint, it's going to seep into all the little nooks and crannies, and that's what gives you the definition of your flower. So you don't want to go too heavy. And I'm using a paintbrush, but I mean, you could use a foam brush for this too. All right, so let's put some flowers on here. I'm gonna start kind of right down here. Again, this is using paint. Let me stamp that one more time. There we go. And the other thing you'll notice is if they try to kind of shift on you, you can kind of push them back into place. Let's just do a couple of flowers here. I'm kind of rocking it back and forth a little bit. Oh yeah, that's a pretty one. Okay, do you see? So I'm getting this really kind of truly organic shape of a flower. Now I'm gonna go to the other end because I think it's really pretty sometimes to do multiple colors. So actually I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna go to this brush. I'm gonna put a little bit of blue on here. And I'm doing this other end because I want you to see how pretty these can be also. So again, this is just kind of a sample just to show you. So I think I'll stick one right up here. Cute. Now, even though these look cute separate, think about this. How cute is it to layer them up? So I have my yellow here, and now I'm gonna put a little bit of this blue on top. Might even be able to get that stamped twice. Yes. Do you see? So you can actually go in and start layering them up if you wanted to. Okay. Now the other thing I can do is once this is dry, and I'll show you that in just a minute with the ink one, I can go in with my pens and actually do some fun drawing. Now for those of you, if you're doing this for card making, on a canvas, whatever, just keep in mind, and especially those of you that are Bible journaling, if you're Bible journaling and you think you're gonna watercolor or do anything with water, anything liquid around these, you need to make sure you're using a pen that's permanent so that when it's dry, it's steadfast. It's not gonna smear, it's not going to smear or bleed through, okay? So just keep that in mind. And I'm using Pitt pens from Faber-Castell. I love them, they're my favorite. So this one's just about dry. So, well, should I do this, should I not? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna live dangerously. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could come in and kind of just create, do you remember how this looks? All these little, almost like little half moon kind of looks. So I could actually come in here and create my own. So if I'm not too happy with the look I have, you know, the look of the stamping, but looky there, do you see how it just takes on a whole nother dimension? I totally love it. Okay, so one more thing I want to show you about the celery with the paint really fast is you can also just cut off a piece, okay, a piece like this. And this is what's great for that. I'm going to make a leaf with it. So I'm going to put on some green paint here. Okay, and watch this. I'm going to just kind of, let's see, I'll do one kind of going right up here. So I'm going to do one side. I'm gonna come right back in and do the other side. Do you see how I'm gonna get the kind of look of a leaf? Perfect, that's so cute. Now do you see how this one's really wide? So that's why it gives me a wide leaf here. If I wanted to, I could actually use the smaller end, and I could be using a totally different color of green if I wanted to have a two-tone leaf. So now I'm just gonna kind of come in, oops, and I can just kind of start filling in with those sides. And I'm gonna leave a little bit of white because I actually like that. Okay, so I can come in and actually create my leaf just like this. And again, once it's dry, I'll show you some fun kind of doodling I can do on that. I think I'm just gonna take my finger and pounce in just a little bit, just to fill in that leaf, just a hair. Okay, so I'm gonna set this to the side and let it dry, because what I'm really, really excited about is to show you the ink. It's probably my favorite. I'm just gonna kind of swipe these off really quick. Okay, so first thing to know about this is we're gonna use the inks for the celery, and it's totally okay to use the inks for the celery, okay? But don't use the lemons or the limes or whatever other kind of acidic fruit that you might have. You don't want the acid in your stamp pad. But it's beautiful for the celery. So I'm gonna kind of pounce off my celery. I'm gonna use this piece now, okay? And I'm going to just load this up. I like this the best with ink, just because you really get all the defining, all the little definition in there, okay? And you're gonna see that. So here we go. I'm gonna stamp away. I think you're gonna like this. Look at that. I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stamp up here a bit. This one's still kind of juicy. Normally they're a little bit, not even so much wet like that. You see that? Okay, that looks so pretty. So now I'm gonna go back to this one, and I'm gonna add in another color. So this is really fun because you don't have to mess with your, actually, let's do it with this side. Now don't be surprised if you see a little bit of blue, because I haven't really cleaned this up much, and I'll go back and clean the top of my stamp pad off with a baby wipe here in a moment. Okay, so I've loaded this one up now with this kind of pretty orangey color, corally color. Look at that. See, I see a little blue coming out, but that's okay. All right, can you see that? How it's kind of building up color on top of color? I totally love that. Now, if I want to, I can actually come in here with just a tiny bit of paint and a Q-tip. I use Q-tips a lot. They're just a nice little dabber when you need it. And I'm just gonna put in some little almost like little circle, little stampy things in here in the center of my flower. Again, not using much paint at all. Isn't that pretty? Okay, I love it. I love it, I love it. So let's go ahead and talk about the stamping really quick for the leaf. And this will be good because I have a couple different colors of ink here. And then I'm gonna go in on my page in a moment and kind of show you that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to, this is a pretty good looking one. I'm doing a little bit smaller leaf this time. So you can see I've loaded it up with some ink. I'm gonna come in here. Oh, I love that. I love how that's looking. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Okay, so let's go over here. Do another one. It's okay if they're not exactly in line with each other. It's just a fun process. Okay, so I used this color. Let's see, which one was that? Northern Pine. So now I'm gonna come in with this lighter color, and I'm gonna use the other end, which is a little bit smaller. Hopefully you can see enough difference in these two. Yeah, a little bit. So I'm just kind of coming inside of my leaf a little bit for that kind of two-tone look. And this would be fun to do with a brighter ink or even your paint. And by the way, that's a good thing for me to mention right now. I could have easily had, you know, a painted flower as the base and then an ink flower on top as long as everything was dry. So what I love about this, and if you had a heat tool, you could heat this up. You could just heat it up and dry it really fast, which I don't know why I didn't think to plug one in, but I didn't. And so I'm gonna go in now and show you some fun pen work that I can do. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go back to my extra small because I like it to be kind of delicate, and I think you can see it okay. Hopefully you can see it okay. Yeah, I think so. I'll move up just a little bit here. Okay, so I'm going to come in and do my leaf first. So the first thing I do, and I like to kind of do a little swoopy-doo like that, and then I'm gonna do it again, okay? And then I can kind of come in here and create a vein and maybe a couple others. Isn't that pretty? Okay. So let's do it again over here. Sometimes I go backwards over my stamping. Very cute. And then my flower. So again, I could leave the flower just as it is if I wanted to, or I can come in and add the pin work. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some pin work for you, just because I want you to get the gist of kind of how this works and see how easy it is. And honestly, I mean, there's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm just kind of going in and creating those same kind of looks that I saw from the celery. Okay, same kind of movement here. Okay, you can kind of see where that's headed. I love that. I love that. I'm going off the page a little bit, off the tag a little bit. Now my yellow circles in here, if I wanted to, I could leave those, but I could also come back in here and just do a little bit of doodling as well. So do you see where I'm going with that? Hopefully you can see that okay. I love it. So big difference, right? From this flower to this flower. And they have both have a different look, but I really just totally love that. So I'm gonna do this again, just so you can kind of watch me. Again, I'm just kind of coming around. I'm not even trying to be completely, see how I have, there's some ink kind of hanging out here, and that's totally okay. That's kind of giving it this artsy, you know, kind of doodly, artsy kind of look. And again, doing my extra trace in there. Really artsy and fun. Okay, so I'm gonna come back in here, and if it helps you, you can kind of do the outside edge first. And again, girls, I'm just gonna encourage you to do this kind of fast. So here's what I found out about doing things fast. When we try to do it quickly, we don't think. And that's what you need to do. You don't need to think. Just don't think. Sometimes you get your most beautiful creations when you're not thinking so hard. When you're thinking too hard, then it all looks too planned. It doesn't look organic. It's a flower. It should look really, really organic. Right? No two flowers should look alike. Oh, I totally love my tag. I'm gonna go ahead now, because I'm loving how it's looking so much, and come in here and do some fun kind of doodly doing around the edges. This is my kind of art, girls. No, nothing perfect. I totally love it. I totally love it. Look how cute that is. I could use it as a journaling on a scrapbook page. I could put it on a gift bag. I could even put this on the front of a card. I can use it as a tip-in in my Bible. I could use it as a bookmark, put a favorite quote on there. So many different things that I could do. Okay, tags are great. Tags are great for practicing on, and you know, if you love it, you keep it. If you don't, it's no big loss. It's just these are just shipping tags. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the one here on my Bible page, because one of the things I wanted to show all of you, especially those of you that are journalers, I did not prep the page, so which means that it does not have gesso on it, okay? And I want to show you what happens on the back. So you can see you do get a little bit of ghosting, okay? Ghosting is where you kind of see the hue, the color coming through the back, but it's not a bleed. It didn't bleed through and come out onto the back of the page or the next page. It's just ghosting. So if that bothers you, if you don't want to see that ghosting, then all you have to do is apply some clear gesso made for paper. I like the Donna Wakley clear gesso. That's what we sell in the shop because it's my favorite. And just paint that over the page before you start stamping your fruits and veggies. So one more thing I wanted to show you really quickly. This is a canvas that Maddie made. She's so good at hand lettering, and I'm so trying to be good at it, and it just takes so much practice for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and see. I've not actually done ink on the canvas before. I've used the paints, but just for grins, I'm gonna go ahead and try the ink on the canvas. Now, one thing I can tell you on the canvas is I might have to put my hand underneath here just because canvases give way. Oh, I got a little bit of an impression there. Let's see if I can get a little more right in here. Okay, not too bad. It's actually kind of pretty like that. Okay, so let me try some here. And this is I'm gonna show you another really good tip if you're doing anything on a canvas. I'm gonna go ahead and put this book right here. If you will put something hard kind of underneath you, and of course that book doesn't fit. Let's see. Okay, well, you're gonna have to visualize with me. If you had, you know, a book, something that fits within this space, it's nice to actually put something solid surface down underneath it, because then you have something, you're not getting this give with the canvas. I'm gonna go ahead and just put my hand here. Okay, let's see. Oh, I love it. I love it, I love it. And I'm gonna go ahead and do maybe another one right here. Let's see if I can get a good enough impression. Okay, still seems to be harder to, that's so funny. You'd think it wouldn't be harder to do an impression on the edge where the frame is. Okay, but either way, I think that is actually quite pretty. I love that. Let's see. So now I'm gonna add in a few leaves, and this time I'm gonna use the paint. So let's add in a leaf here, and here. Very pretty. I like the bright color with this. And maybe one here. I'm gonna go over her letter a little bit. I like that. I like anything that looks layered. Can't remember if I did both sides before. Okay. And maybe one right here. Let's see if I can get enough out of that one. So. Okay. And then maybe one more here. Very cute. Okay. Sorry, I gotta do some more. It's so hard to know when to stop, but you know, that's 4, and I like odd numbers, so I'm gonna go ahead and add another one right over here. This will be my number 5. I might need a little bit of extra paint there where I went over the eye, but I think that's okay. Okay, so now then I'm gonna go back with my Q-tip here. I'm just adding just a little tiny bit of green on the end of my Q-tip, just to kind of pounce, not all of it, but just a little more in the centers. Okay. Okay, very pretty. Okay, I'm gonna go back with my yellow now, because I don't know why, but I like them having a little something going on in the center. What do you think? Do you like that? Okay, so pretty. Okay, so if I had my heat tool, I would be drying this all the way out, but I don't, so I'm gonna wad up a little piece of paper towel here. Man, why didn't I bring my heat gun home? I can't believe I didn't do that. I'm actually videoing this from my house today. Okay. All right. Oh, I love that. I think that's so pretty. So I could leave it like that if I wanted to. Hopefully that's not too, you're not getting a glare from the light too much. So I'm gonna come back in now because y'all know I kind of like doing this pen work. These pens are great because you can actually use them on canvas. And again, I'm gonna kind of come in here and do my little doodly-doo. Some of these are still a little wet, so I'm gonna be careful. I don't get too much on my pen. Okay. And might be a little bit wet. Okay, I think I'm gonna wait a minute on that part. So I don't wanna gunk up my pen. Now, if that ever happens and you do get some gunk on your pen, you really just need a baby wipe. You just need to clean it well, and that'll take care of it. Just get it off there before it dries. You don't want it to dry. Okay, so I'm gonna come in and just do a little bit around this flower. Now you'll notice it's gonna look a little bit different this time because I've got the texture of the canvas that's kind of it creates, you know, little bumps. So as my pen goes across, it kind of makes it look kind of bumpity. And I have to say, I kind of like that. Okay, so kind of get where I'm going. Now this looks really delicate, so I'm not gonna do too much. And I'm gonna come in here again, just create my little clusters there. Oh, that's so pretty. I hope y'all like it as much as I do. Look at that. Okay, and I'm gonna go in, do a little bit of my pen work here. Okay, so I think you get the gist. Isn't that gonna be gorgeous? I totally love that. I think that's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna finish out the rest of my flowers here. And I just really hope that you'll give this a try, okay? When you give it a try, make sure and have your heat gun handy. That'll make the process go a lot faster. So I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of put these right here in front of you again so you can remember what it's going to look like and how pretty they are when you go in and you do your pen work, okay? So thanks so much for watching. Enjoy and go get you some fruits and veggies and have fun making celery flowers and lemon wedges and all kinds of things. Thanks for watching.